the Toronto Raptors, they started out really bad to start the season. There was a lot of turmoil around them. They had to play in Tampa Bay instead of Toronto, so that probably had a lot to do with it. But they're 6-4 in their last 10 games. And the Toronto Raptors look really good. Fred VanVleet had a career-high 54 points, a monumental day for him. Do you think that the Toronto Raptors are going to make the playoffs?
I think they have a big chance. I think everything is starting to get into form. I think the defense is getting back. Players are starting to understand their role. You even see Pascal Siakam. He's been playing really well the last 3-4 games. You know, Fred VanVleet had the big explosion. And, you know, they have Kyle Lowry. He's been the most consistent player on the team. He's been their guy. I'm looking at their next couple games. You know, Brooklyn, Atlanta, I can see them getting that win. Memphis, they can get that win. Then they got Washington. They should win that. Boston's going to be a tough one. And then Minnesota, that's a win. And then Milwaukee, and then Minnesota. So they got some tough back-to-backs coming up. But I can see them definitely getting back in the hunt. And with the East, you know, there's a lot of, after the 5th seed, there's a lot of teams that are just hunting. Atlanta, us, the Knicks, Toronto. So it's just teams hunting. Yeah, the Hornets.
You better put the Knicks before the Bulls. You said the Bulls first. You better say the Knicks first next time. That's just a warning.
You're not even a Knicks fan.
Yeah, you're literally,
I got a Knicks hat right there.
But you literally were just talking about the Nets.
And you're just about to say, I'm ordering 3 Nets jerseys.
I'm a fan of New York.
What?
Anyways, yeah, I definitely can see them making the playoffs. They just have to continue on with the stretch that they're going through.
See, with me, I just get to that Knicks point for a second. I'm ordering Nets jerseys. I'm ordering Nets jerseys.
What Knicks jerseys are you ordering this season?
None. And the reason why is because with the Knicks, you don't know how long players are going to stay with them.
Okay.
That's why I have to be really cautious about the players that I order.
You don't know how long Harden's going to stay with them.
I was just
and Kyrie.
But they're so great that I don't care.
You literally said RJ Barrett.
I'm not going to order a Julius Randle jersey. He's probably going to leave next season.
He's having a career
RJ
year.
Barrett, we never know what's going to happen. What if he gets traded for Donovan Mitchell or something?
What the heck? Why would they accept that?
I'm just saying. But look, let's talk about the Raptors. You talked about the Nets being they actually face the Nets tonight. I'm not sure that that's a bona fide loss like you made it seem like. I think they have a chance to win the game, especially when the Nets play down a competition. Not that the Raptors are a bad team, but the Nets possibly could blow this game just based on how they've been playing against the lower teams. But their next 10 against the Nets, the Hawks, the Grizzlies, the Wizards, the Celtics, the Timberwolves, the Bucks twice, then the Timberwolves, then the 76ers. I think they can go like 6-4 in that stretch, the same record they had the last 10 games. I think Toronto Raptors, they have all the talent to go on a run here and make it into the playoffs. When you look at the teams that are in front of them right now, currently in the standings, it's the Hornets, the Hawks, the Cavs, and the Knicks. Do I expect the Cavs to be as good as they are if they lose Drummond, which they're shopping right now? I don't. The Knicks I like, but you know they're mostly a defensive-oriented team.
They're a one-man defensive team. Mitchell Robinson keeps them alive.
That's cap.
And Julius Randle.
Elfrid Payton is really good defensively. They run 1 through 5. They run great defensively.
If you look at the numbers, though, if you take Julius Randle off offense and Mitchell Robinson off defense, their numbers are horrible.
I understand that, but watch the tape, though. You know, like defensively,
they're
all like zoned in.
And then you got the Hawks who have been dealing with mad injuries. It seems like they have not played with their full lineup that they got from free agency yet. Bogdanovich has been injured. Gallinari has been in and out. Cam Reddish has been out some games, and so was Hunter. Hunter hasn't even been playing recently.
Yeah, he didn't play last game.
Yeah, so they haven't been playing with their full lineup, so there's a lot of stuff going on there. And I like the Hornets a lot, but Terry Rozier is hurt. So this is a chance for chance for the Raptors to make that run. Norman Powell is playing now how he was playing last year. He started out the season really slow.
Anunoby's balling.
Yep, he's balling too. So I think the Raptors, I would say they're going to make the playoffs because I just trust in that roster so much. Yeah. I don't think they tank like people on Twitter have been saying they should.
Why would they?
People have been talking about trading Kyle Lowry. I don't think they trade Kyle Lowry. And when you have a coach as good as Nick Nurse, they'll find a way to get back into the playoff race.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at their rankings in the league right now, they rank top 20 in everything besides rebounds. And I think down the stretch they'll figure that out. You know, like rebounding situation, they won't have a problem with it. And I do think that they make the playoffs. Like the teams like the Knicks and the Cavs, it might just be too early, you know, like just early season, teams might not be like taking them as serious yet. So I don't think they're gonna keep winning and stay as high as they do. I like both of you guys said, I think the Raptors are gonna start to get everybody back, figure it out, and make a little run.
They have lost 4 games by 4 points or less. And it's even, I think they've lost about 10 games within like 10 points. So a lot of the Raptors games have been really close games and have come down to a possession or two. They're 9th in defensive rating right now, so their defense is still very solid. They have just been waiting on that offense to pick up. When they lost Serge and Marc Gasol, they thought Aaron Baines was going to come in and at least take some of the pressure off of, you know, the offense and hit some shots. But Aaron Baines has been horrible since he got signed there. Chris Boucher kind of took the load on himself, and he's been fantastic. But I think overall, the success of the Raptors is going to be on Siakam and the other role players. I think Van Vliet and Kyle Lowry are going to remain consistent, but it's whether if OG and Norman can keep doing their thing.
9 games they have lost under 10 points. So 9. It's been 9 and then 5 under 5 points. So it's situation. Same thing with Toronto that's been happening for a while. Who's going to be their closer? Kawhi's gone. Who's going to be the guy that's going to finish the game? And you paid Pascal to be that guy, and he has to be that guy. I mean, against the Kings, he didn't really, you know, show any flashes, but, you know, they beat Orlando twice, so that's a common good win. They got to show me something against Brooklyn tonight. You know, they got to fight.
At least a competitive game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a competitive game, but the reason why I say I think Brooklyn's going to win because I don't see any fear, and I think Brooklyn's going to come to play tonight. I think they know Toronto aren't slouches regardless of their record. But I don't think Toronto is going to keep up with them scoring-wise. But at the same time, yeah, I don't think Toronto should tank. I think they have the pieces to make a run. I think they have the pieces to make any playoff series tough. It's just if they can continue the consistency. I mean, Fred VanVleet, he has been consistent. Kyle Lowry, he has been consistent. It's just the other guys. They got to step up. Pascal has to step up and elevate his game. And if he can do that, then they'll go on the stretch.
I feel like Pascal is one of the biggest pieces to this team. Because, like you said, they paid him a lot of money. And I do feel like last season, he was, like, trying to do too much. Like, they kind of gave him that, like, yo, here's this contract. We really want you to be that guy. And then he took on that role, and I don't think he was ready for it. So I kind of feel like this season he's like, you know, let me try to mesh in with what everybody else is doing instead of have everyone else mesh with what I'm doing.
He went from a number 2 for a championship team, number 2, 3, you know, how everyone afflicts it, to a number 1 all-star appearance last year, to a bubble failure, to now being compared to Jamie Grant.
Exactly.
Like,
this is the thing with Siakam.
What a crazy turn of events.
I think in the finals run with Kawhi,
he played great.
When he sometimes, you know, he was very inconsistent. I think the second
great
best,
at home. I want to say
I
that.
think the second best player on that team was Kyle Lowry, and in
he
the
definitely
finals,
hit big shots.
In the finals, outside of Game 1, Siakam was very inconsistent. Game 1 was the only explosion game.
Yeah,
and his skill set is really not geared towards being the number 1 scorer on the offense.
I don't like his offensive game, really.
Yeah, it's not really geared towards that. He can be the second or third, but he can't be the first. And I think it's just better for the Raptors as a whole if they stop trying to force feed him the ball and have him take a bunch of shot attempts and just, you know, play within the offense. And I think that's what they've been doing recently. Right now, their best scorer on the team is Fred VanVleet, and he's doing his thing. Kyle Lowry, I would have put close second, but Kyle Lowry is an unselfish player that likes to get everybody involved, so he's going to let Fred shine. And I think Fred is taking on that challenge, you know, well. That's why I wanted him on the Knicks, because I thought he was going to do some good things for the Knicks as well. But, you know, he stayed in Toronto, and he's doing his thing.
But how successful can you be with your best scorer being Fred VanVleet?
I mean, the thing is, I think you can. It depends. I mean, I think the Raptors have a limited ceiling as is.
Yeah.
But I also believe that they can make it. They can shock a team in the first round and make it to the second round, and you know, after that, anything goes, because their best scorer is Fred VanVleet in terms of, you know, a guy who can get up their shot at any time. But I think Siakam, like, they just have a bunch of guys collectively that can put the ball in the basket, you know, at any time. That's why it gets so hard in crunch time, because everybody's pretty much the same. So who gets it? You know, nobody has really stood out and said, "This is my team."
You need that. You need that in the playoff situation, because like if they can shock them, they would have to see a team like Philly, a team like Boston. They don't want to see the Nets in the first round, and Boston already beat them last year. So it's gonna be tough depending on how they get in. I mean, if they could see Indiana, they can steal the series, I believe. But I'm not confident in the team because, like you said, they don't have a guy who's going to be like, all right, this is my team. I'm going to take it over 2 minutes left. They just have a bunch of guys collectively, and I think that's what haunted them in the series against Boston last year. They didn't have a guy who really took over the game at one point. Like, they just had a bunch of guys who played team basketball, played ball the right way. But in a playoff series, I feel like you just need that guy that just takes over a game for about 2-3 minutes. So Toronto, I don't know, man.
They should be able to sneak an eighth. But I mean, if the Bulls keep playing like they do, you never know, man.
I've been calling them overrated for like 2 years, so I'm gonna stick to what I say.